said, yeah, they had to go through checkpoints, and they thought it was weird. One guy's like, yeah, we had to go through them 3 times. We're just going up to the lake to hang out, and we got to go through a checkpoint every time. They're being citizens. They just have to flash an ID and go through, but they still have to wait if they're pulling somebody else over. We saw a group of journalists. I assume they were journalists. One of them looked like he was one of those camera guys who carries the giant camera on his shoulder, one of those ENG cameras. And they looked like they were from Europe. They were all in this really small car. They had them pulled off to the side as we were coming down. I took a couple photos of them, and they turned those guys away. Not like them, they did. No. Make them leave.
Quit looking at me, Swan.
Not proper credentials you carry.
Mine. Here.
They turned.
Or I will help you not. Do that one.
Mine. Mine, or I will help you not.
Oh, my God. You know.
So they turned this group away, and they just look like normal dudes. They had shorts and polo shirts on. They looked like they were just coming up here to cover the event, and they didn't have the proper paperwork, I guess, to get through. So that's what's going on here in Austria, and we're giving people the real news. I've seen reports that we're sensationalists, that we come and cover this. But you know what? If you're going to agree and think that this is reasonable to have checkpoints 5-6 miles away from an event, I mean, then you're
with guys. But listen, this is how they spin stuff. First, they said it didn't exist. Now they're setting up planetary government openly. We're going under TPP. The EU's a dictatorship, a Nazi project on record. It was covert. The UK is trying to get out right now. The globalists are setting up a global meltdown.
The elite are moving.
Yeah, the government security people run a mind control torture castle, according to the Boca Raton Times. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up, and then the media spins it that we're sensational. No, reality is sensational.
Exactly.
And guess what? We're winning. Guess what? We're winning. We're having a good time doing it. And you got a bunch of people want to power grab and take over, and that's why Germany and Austria were involved, staging the Munich attack. It's come out. So decades later, they can run around and harass journalists. Just like the Patriot Act's used on its #1 enemy, veterans, like Joe Biggs, who's on a don't treat list at the VA. We know what's going on. I want to get Paul Watson's take on all this. Paul, a secret government group called Cobra that's in a mind control castle running security at Bilderberg that acts like Spectre. I mean, you really can't make this up.
Well, the thing about it is, no, they try and make you feel guilty, like you're bad for wanting to cover this as a reporter or film the police or whatever, when they're literally guarding a conference run by a war criminal in Henry Kissinger, attended by 3 of the top people from HSBC, who recently got fined again for a second time, $43 million for laundering money for drug dealers and arms dealers. And yet we're the bad people for wanting to cover this, and yet that's what's taking place at Bilderberg. And what they're discussing at Bilderberg is more capital controls, the move towards the abolition of cash in the name of, preventing tax fraud and terror financing to ISIS.
That's right. Let's talk about some of their agenda, what they admit is in their agenda that Drudge linked to yesterday. Let's go over what they admit is in their agenda and then what our sources say is also there, because they're trying to sew the planet up right now. A. B, they've got to be mad because it's already all over the European and British press. It is not in the U.S. press as usual. Go ahead.
Well, what they admit is in the agenda is basically meaningless because it's just a series of vague talking points like, United Kingdom means absolutely nothing. So what they're actually talking about from what they've said and from the information we've got is, and this is why Regina Duggan from Google is there, this is why the guy from Google DeepMind is there, selling artificial intelligence and Big Brother surveillance as trendy and cool. That's what they've been working on for the past couple of years with this ingestible ID chip, which Regina Duggan, who of course is the former director of DARPA, now a Google executive, that's what she's working towards. She's in attendance at Bilderberg for the first time with Google's Eric Schmidt.
Sorry, Yoda was popping in. Says this is real dark side stuff.
Yeah, so they're basically going to come out and say, in the name of stopping ISIS, which now the Pentagon's leaked report said they knew they were creating a Salafist principality in the region by arming all these jihadist groups. But never mind that. In the name of stopping ISIS, they're going to impose more capital controls on individuals. So France from September is already banning cash transactions over €1,000. That's what Bilderberg's going to talk about, because the very people there are allied with the institutions and the voices that are talking about abolishing cash altogether eventually.
It's over the top.
Yeah, and I just want to add one thing. There's another company, the head of Siemens Corp is going to be here, and they're one of the most corrupt companies in Europe. They've been fined over $1 billion in corruption scandals. I mean, it's nothing but corrupt individuals.
Well, these are the very same mega banks. These are the very same mega banks I showed last hour just fined $5.8 million for fixing the global money systems, the currency speculation market every day. That is a fraction of what they make per day. Deutsche Bank hit with largest ever LIBOR fine a few years ago, where all the big banks got caught fixing global interest rates. I mean, everything is rigged, ladies and gentlemen. Even the Rolling Stone magazine admits that. And all we're doing is showing you who's rigging it. The giant demonic possum, Henry Kissinger.
The guy from Palantir is there, too, that large data mining company.
That's tied in with the NSA.
Yep. And he's going to be at that.
And they have 3 individuals from the Council, or the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. And if people don't know that, this group was created
Carnegie quarterbacks the whole show.
Exactly. Their first act was to write a letter to Woodrow Wilson to say, hey, keep World War I going. We need this so we could change America fundamentally.
And create a League of Nations.
Educational system.
That's right.
Exactly. And so they're going up there.
The Carnegie Endowment helped set up the Bolsheviks. The Carnegie Endowment helped put the Bolsheviks in that caused the reign of terror that killed over 100 million people. I mean, these are evil folks, folks.
Is to figure out how to whitewash World War III. How to turn it into something we need. That's why they have these...
Wait a minute. Are you being discriminatory against World War III now, Rob? I mean, I've heard a lot of extremism, but don't go that far.
Yeah.
This guy's racist against World War III.
He's racist. He's
World War III
sexist.
is going to affect Europe first. It's not going to affect the United States. I mean, unless it goes nuclear, and then everybody's dead. But, you know, they've got CEOs of media corporations in Denmark, Italy, Austria, Germany, Turkey, the United States. The head of Bloomberg is going to be here.
But some of the deeper...
The chief editor.
And figure out how to whitewash it.
Some of the deeper mine shafts, life could be quite easily continued. Animals would have to be bred and slaughtered. Sorry, that's a Dr. Strangelove. Can you guys pull up Dr. Strangelove mine shaft? Just type Dr. Strangelove mine shaft. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to stay here the night at this place. I think I'm going to go down and get a hotel or a room at the other hotel. Just for tonight. I just don't feel, especially after coming here. And then the guy, the hotel manager said, don't be alarmed if they come at night. I'm definitely going to be alarmed if they come at night.
Rob, you can do whatever you want as a family man, you know, with 3 kids and one in the oven. You can do whatever you want. But I'm telling you, you want them to come. They're watching right now. If you know Dracula's coming at night, that's great. Be waiting on them and get it all on tape. Nighttime raid on journalists, sensational. So tell us the rest of the story. You were told by the hotel owner, don't be surprised if they come at night. I mean, what are they going to do, drag you away to Auschwitz?
He said, don't worry if they come at night. He said, don't be alarmed. Actually, he said, don't be alarmed if they come at night. Because he goes, they'll probably come back later because they asked if you're going to be back. And I said, I don't know. We're down in the town. We're shooting some reports. And the last thing he said was, well, don't be alarmed if they come back tonight. I'll see you in the morning. That was just a little creepy.
Set up a GoPro outside and have that thing running.
Yeah.
100 years?
That's the problem. These batteries on everything.
Hold on. We've got a comment here from the...
People could actually stay down there for 100 years?
Would not be difficult, mein Führer. Nuclear reactors could... I'm sorry, Mr. President.
By the way, I shouldn't make jokes. I do the show. This is really scary stuff. It's very saddening. I was very serious the first hour or two. I start making jokes at some point because we make light of this. And even the crew, my cousin was like, I think you're screwing around too much, having fun. They don't normally give me advice. We cope with gallows humor. It's how we don't go crazy. I mean, it's better than turning stuff over, but we're going to have serious coverage of Bilderberg 2015 throughout this week. It's truly disgusting. I'm going to do some overdrive and hit some other issues with this McKinney situation with the police and the pool party. Folks are out burning American flags now up there. It's just really sad what's happened, this chain reaction. that the White House has basically set off, using some real issues out there to fan the flames. But I wanted to get a closing comment from Paul Watson and then from Rob Dew and Josh Owens there in Austria, site of Bilderberg 2015, about to kick off. Paul Watson.
Yeah, apparently they escorted Charlie Skelton of The Guardian back to his hotel in 2 police vans. They gave him a personal escort. He couldn't even get past the checkpoint. So, that if they want to draw more attention to themselves, then keep doing it, because it'll just make more headlines and shine further spotlight on Bilderberg. But we've got some of the agenda going up in a video in the next half an hour or so, and then we'll get the rest of the text up after that. So that's going up on Infowars.com soon.
This is from our high-level sources, folks. This is a big deal, and we should go to the hotel where Skelton is based. If you have that info, please give that to Rob Dew so he can go interview Skelton about his situation. That's a major London Guardian reporter, and this is how they respond. Did he try to walk up there, or did they take his car?
No, from what I understand, he drove up there in his own car, and then they just turned him back, then gave him a personal escort with 2 police vans full of cops behind him all the way back to his own hotel. So
that's the London Guardian, undoubtedly the biggest English language paper in Europe, not just the UK. I mean, that's the paper they read, that they print on newsstands all over Europe. So we're talking 400 million people have access to it, and that's how they act. I mean, that's like the New York Times.
Yeah, he posted a picture right before that happened, too, on his Twitter, showing the checkpoint as he approached and then saying, hey, I'm being escorted out now by police.
Let's show his Twitter if we can. This is simply, I keep using the word amazing, Paul. What do you make of this?
It's stupid, that's what it is, because they're just giving us more content, more videos, and more headlines. If they don't want to draw attention to themselves, then be reasonable and don't harass journalists. It's pretty simple.
Well, I mean, look at how the UK police acted.
Yeah. No, there were no stories about police brutality out of that or harassment. There were none out of Copenhagen.
Well, they didn't even arrest me when I did bust the blockade and got on the barge, because they knew that it was a First Amendment. Free speech over there. In fact, the cops were telling me privately they agree with me. Great job, Watson. Great job, everybody. Everybody stay there. I'm going to come back to Paul. The Bilderberg group from the press and acting like the press is evil. And the reason I started getting goofy last hour is you got a group called Cobra that's in a castle where they admittedly mind control and torture people, and it's in major Florida newspapers, and then that's who's running security. It's just upside down world, as I said at the start of the broadcast. It's bizarre. Final comment on that, Paul Watson.
Yeah, again, it's stupid, because they're going to draw more attention to themselves than otherwise would have happened. So we're going to get more headlines and more news stories out of it. One more thing on the agenda. They're talking about arming the Ukrainian militias, these openly neo-Nazi militants who, string people up on crosses, burn them alive, hang people from the neck. So they're openly talking about arming them and possibly stoking a major confrontation between Russia and NATO before the end of the year.
This is Bilderberg agenda. This is Bilderberg agenda.
Yeah, same thing with the South China Sea situation. They're going to not basically give China any room for maneuver on that. So again, possible confrontation. People have talked about China-U.S. relations being the worst in 20, 30 years. So
well, here's the problem. Again, you can't maneuver the Chinese into a war like we did the Japanese, because there's nuclear weapons now. And I'm not saying the Imperial Japanese didn't deserve some of it. They were pretty bad. But the Chinese have got nuclear weapons.
Well, there's no Chinese representation at Bilderberg. There has been a smattering of it in recent years, but they've been completely frozen out now. So they're definitely, trying to dismantle the BRICS' ability to have any influence or challenge just like
Putin
system.
Was kicked out of G7 from G8, and now the Chinese called that totalitarian.
Yeah, they said it was authoritarian rule. You've also got Jim Messina of the Messina Group, who ran Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. He's now advising Hillary, so his job will be to basically strangle any funding, any financing for the other potential presidential candidates that will run against Hillary. So that will be his role at Bilderberg 2015.
Paul, you are such an on-target great reporter. How long? We've been working together, 13, 14 years?
Something like that, yeah.
Or longer?
Since 2002, I think.
Aren't you glad I forced you to do video blogs, forced you to get on air with us? Remember?
Definitely. It's all picking up now, and, I'm looking forward to getting out there.
And now look at you. Why, I'm there with a gun, you're there with a belt, feeding me.
It's worked out pretty well so far.
Of course, folks, I said I quit joking around. That's a doctor's training.